Good morning. Welcome to our next webinar series. Very happy that one of our partner organizations for our national SBDC organization is with us today. We'll give everybody a few more moments to get connected, and then we'll get started. All right, we'll get everybody get connected up. Great. So happy everybody could join us this morning. I serve as your host today. I'm Drew Tonsmeyer, serve as the area director for the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center. Our particular center is located on the campus of Kennesaw State. We have 18 offices around the state of Georgia. There's over 1,000 SBDCs across the country. So very happy to have one of our partner organizations of the Better Business Bureau. A lot of people kind of heard that. It's been kind of a household name, it seems like forever. But getting into what it can do for your business and how it can interact with you and your customers, that's what this program is all about today. Very happy to introduce Kimber Armstrong. Kimber, you've been with the BBB for 5 years, started off in Nashville, then moved to take over the programming and strategic partnerships in North Georgia. So happy to have you here. Her partnership program is working with different organizations to help both organizations or multiple organizations achieve their goals. Kimber loves teaching others about the BBB and excited to share her knowledge with you today. So Kimber, I will turn the program over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Drew. Good morning, everyone. We are so happy to be a partner of SBDC and especially Kennesaw State today. And before we get started, let's see, let me go ahead and pull up my presentation. There we go. Okay, so before we get started with the presentation, I would like to ask the attendees what you know about the Better Business Bureau already. So do we have a couple of people willing to share what they know? If so, if you would drop it in the chat and Drew will be monitoring that for us.
Yeah, as you're answering that question in the chat, if you have any questions for Kimber, that's a great reminder is there are two panels. There's a chat panel and then a Q&A panel. So for Kimber's first question, if you'll put it in the chat, but for any questions you have about the BBB, if you will put those in the Q&A panel, we can address those at the end of the program. So if you would, if you can answer back on Kimber, would you repeat that question again of what you want people to answer?
Yeah, sure. So I always just say, what do you know about the Better Business Bureau? And a little background on that is there are a lot of misconceptions about BBB, and it's funny when I'm out and about. I have a community facing role, and people think all kinds of crazy things about BBB. And also we do a lot of things. We've evolved and changed over the years, and we do a lot of things and offer services that people don't know about. So I'm just curious to hear what people's knowledge of us is already.
Well, we're dealing with technology. We just found out that our chat is not working. So if you would, let's answer that in the Q&A panel. So if you'll go to the Q&A panel and answer, what do you know about the BBB? Let's see if we can get some of these answers.
We have one, Drew. Do you see it?
I do not. If you, Carol, if you would go ahead.
Okay, so the chat wasn't disabled. It's just so that we can see it. It says only that people complain to you about other businesses. That's what one person knows about the BBB.
That's probably the most common response that I hear is people know about us for complaints and dispute resolution, and that's okay. We've been doing that for a long time. Did anyone say anything else?
Then another one is a way to search for a business. So I think like if you're looking for a roofing contractor to see, the feedback or who's local or
Yep, very good. We hope you guys are out there using our services for that. We get a lot of traffic to our website. And as I'm going through the presentation today and sharing some stats with you, those stats are all specific to our BBB of North Georgia, which is, we're located in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So I like to tell you first off what BBB is not. So, and again, because there are so many misconceptions out there. So we are not a consumer protection agency. We are not a government agency or government funded. We're not a credit bureau. I got that last week at a presentation. And we're not the mafia. And all kidding aside, I say that because we've heard these things before. It's crazy some of the things that we hear, but we're actually really nice people. We have a staff of 45 in our office, and we love, ethics and integrity in the marketplace, and we're not out to get anyone. So today, the purpose of this is to get these misconceptions clarified and explain to you all what BBB is, who we are, and what we do. BBB has a long history of promoting trust in the marketplace. We have local offices across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. BBB is an organization that works day to day with businesses, consumers, and government entities to ensure marketplace trustworthiness. In 1912, a top executive at Coca-Cola named Samuel Dobbs noticed that a lack of truth in advertising coupled with unethical business practices was hurting both consumers and businesses by weakening the business culture overall. As a result, the Better Business Bureau was founded to promote empowered buying decisions, stronger business practices, and a deeper investment within communities. Truth in advertising is at the heart of what we do. In fact, truth in advertising is the reason we exist today. BBB's vision is an ethical marketplace where buyers and sellers trust each other. And BBB's mission is to be the leader in advancing marketplace trust. Our name and logo have become synonymous with trust in the marketplace for over a century. We do this by setting standards for marketplace trust, encouraging and supporting best practices by engaging with and educating both consumers and businesses, celebrating marketplace role models, calling out and addressing substandard behavior, and creating a community of trustworthy businesses and charities. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into all of these moving forward with the presentation. BBB's business model and core mission are founded on quality assurance and trust, and BBB has a robust internal system for quality control. BBB's core values shape how BBB interacts with business stakeholders and the community. BBB is committed to upholding its reputation for being honest and fair, accessible and credible, ethical and responsible, unbiased and impartial, knowledgeable and responsive, and respectful of individual and cultural differences. All local and regional BBB offices, including BBB of North Georgia, are held to the highest standards by its parent organization known as the International Association of Better Business Bureaus, or IABBB, which is located in Arlington, Virginia. We were founded in Atlanta in 1937, so this year is our 85th anniversary. And as I mentioned, we have a staff of 45 in our downtown Atlanta, Georgia office, and they're all trained in vetting applications against standards and criteria, evaluating business data, mediation and conflict resolution, processing disputes between consumers and businesses, case management support via phone and email, and educating both consumers and businesses on marketplace trust. We are a not-for-profit organization, and we are a reporting agency. We report facts on businesses, and businesses earn a letter grade rating based on their performance in the marketplace. There's no one on our staff standing around with a clipboard saying, this business deserves a C rating. This one deserves an A+. Let's give this one an F. And I say that because I've actually had someone ask me that before, or say that's the image that they have, that's what, that we're standing there evaluating businesses. But the BBB rating system actually uses an algorithm based on marketplace behavior, including how the business responds to consumer complaints, their transparency, truthful advertising, and time in business. In some cases, a business's grade may be lowered if BBB does not have sufficient information on the business, despite requests for information. And the rating system automatically updates the letter grade when new information is added to the file. We're a neutral third party. We don't advocate for the consumer or for the business. We advocate for transparency, trust, and good business practices. And we are the leader in advancing marketplace trust. Education is a big part of what we do. We have a front row seat to the problems consumers have with businesses, from the 60 to 70,000 disputes we receive every year. And that makes us uniquely qualified to educate business owners, not only to offer good customer service, but also on best practices for exceeding customer expectations. And consumers can report scams directly on our website at bbb.org. Have you ever used our scam tracker feature? A lot of people I talk with don't even know that it exists. If you'll go to our homepage, bbb.org, and go to the bottom of the page, look for BBB Scam Tracker. And our website is location populated. So when you click on Scam Tracker, it will populate a list of scams in your area. It shows you the date the scam happened, what type of scam it was, the postal code it was in, how much money was lost to the scam, and also additional scam descriptions. So if you or your friends or family are ever the victim of a scam, I encourage you to please report it on our website. You'll be helping us in our efforts to steer the economic dollars in our area to the legitimate, trustworthy businesses and away from the scammers. And then ratings, which we just talked about, and business profiles. So we have approximately 270,000 businesses in our database currently, and any business can create a business profile or a listing on our website with us at no cost to you. And reputation management. Your reputation is your most important asset. It takes hard work and ethical values to build your reputation and only seconds to destroy. So make sure you have the right people on your team in place to address customer concerns before they arise. Because of BBB's reputation for trust in the marketplace, the influence it has on consumer and business relationships, and its reporting capabilities, BBB has established long-standing partnerships with numerous federal agencies, including but not limited to this list you see here. So the U.S. Attorney General, the Federal Trade Commission, the U.S. Small Business Association, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the U.S. Postal Inspector, and local law enforcement. BBB standards of trust are time-tested guidelines that put businesses on a course to achieve customer satisfaction and marketplace trust. These standards include to build trust, to advertise honestly, tell the truth, be transparent, honor promises, be responsive, safeguard privacy, and embody integrity. All of which are the foundation of being the sign of a better business. One of BBB's core responsibilities outside of its organization is to hold BBB accredited and non-accredited businesses accountable to BBB standards for trust. BBB accredited businesses have agreed to uphold these standards. If a business qualifies, they can become an accredited member with BBB. I usually tell a business, if you're out there using good business practices, you'll likely qualify. But some things that would prevent your business from qualifying for accreditation are government actions against your business, bankruptcy against the business, less than 6 months in business, and not being properly licensed. And there are additional details about accreditation on our website at bbb.org. Now, the two main benefits of becoming an accredited business with BBB are visibility and credibility. We get between 500,000 and 1 million visitors to our website every month. Consumers flock to our website to check out businesses to see if they're trustworthy and what kind of rating and reviews they have before they do business with them. Now, as an accredited business, you're able to use the BBB Dynamic Seal on your website. You've probably seen that seal on other business websites before. The seal has code embedded in it that will raise your Google visibility. And we don't guarantee that you'll get a certain number of customers or new clients from it. But as an example, a friend of mine is an accredited business here in Marietta with us, and she got accredited about a year ago. And she was telling me a couple of weeks ago, she said, I can't believe all the people that are reaching out to me. And she said, since I got accredited with BBB and put the seal on my website, she's getting a lot of calls from different states, South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky. So it really does increase your visibility with Google. So if someone was, Googling a nonprofit consultant is actually her line of work, and she's popping up there on that Google search. And credibility, it's more important today than it ever has been. Scammers are everywhere, and they're trying to trick us out of our hard-earned money. And once we catch them at one type of scam, they've already moved on and created another one. So consumers and businesses alike know that when you're accredited with us, you've passed our vetting process and you've agreed to uphold BBB's standards of trust. And the majority of consumers that come to our website will choose an accredited business to do business with rather than a non-accredited business. And some of your potential customers may not know your business name, but most do know BBB's name. And as I previously mentioned, we have been around since 1912, and our name is synonymous with trust in the marketplace. We are offering special pricing for our SBDC partners on annual membership with BBB. If you qualify, we'll give you a 20% discount on your first year of accreditation. Just mention that you're with the SBDC and we'll apply the discount for you. You can reach out via this email address, businessdevelopment@atlanta.bbb.org. So please reach out to us if you'd like to learn more. And I believe Drew was going to put the that email address in the chat for us. And we celebrate marketplace role models. The BBB Torch Award for Ethics recognizes and celebrates businesses that are dedicated to ethical business practices. And the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Impact Award celebrates businesses that lead by example and hold themselves and others accountable for diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. %82 of consumers said they'd stop doing business with a company because of a poor customer service experience. Customer satisfaction is key to repeat business and growth. No matter how good a product or service is, long-term success relies on building trust. BBB customer review. So we are a little bit different from some of the other platforms, the review platforms, and we think that all of the review platforms out there serve a purpose. We're not saying, anything negative against any of the others, but I just want to share with you what makes our platform different. We have an app called the Review Solution, and it's super simple to collect reviews from your customers. At the end of the service that you've provided, just ask them if it's okay to send them a text with a link to leave a BBB review. It's very quick and easy for the customer to just click over and leave your review, and you don't have to worry about chasing them down later. And with our reviews, we have an actual person who is processing each review. She vets each review as well. So she's looking at the IP address. And if she sees multiple reviews coming in from the same IP address, then we know someone is attempting to stack reviews and we don't publish them. And if a business receives a negative customer review, we forward the review to the business owner and give them several days to respond to that review before we publish it. We don't allow anonymous reviews or reviews in which the consumer was compensated in any way. And we do verify that the business and the consumer had a marketplace interaction. And I'm sure you'll agree those criteria and processes are very different from a lot of other review sites out there. We all rely on reviews these days when making purchasing decisions, and they're important because they let us know of a customer's experience with that business. BBB recommends that you do two things regarding customer reviews: listen and respond to both the positive and the negative reviews. And remember back to our 8 standards of trust we were just talking about. Be responsive is one of those standards. According to Bright Local research, 89% of consumers are highly or fairly likely to use a business that responds to all of its online reviews. Some additional services that we provide are third-party grant administration services and grant management services, which have been in demand with the CARES and ARPA government funds response to COVID. But we also offer these services with corporate grant funding. BBB has established a reputation for its commitment to quality of service and has been providing customer service education to companies and municipalities for decades. Because of our unique advantage of processing, as I mentioned before, 60 to 70,000 consumer disputes each year, BBB has firsthand knowledge of how to effectively manage customer issues. Our services in this area range from individual training of smaller businesses to group training and management training for medium to large corporations and government municipalities. We also offer background investigative services. And please reach out to me directly if you want additional information on any of these services and programs. My email address is up here. It's karmstrong@atlanta.bbb.org. And again, I believe Drew was going to drop that in the chat for you. We are dedicated to cultivating a strong company culture. It's reflected in some of the awards we've recently won. The Atlanta Business Chronicle Best Places to Work in 2021. Also, we received the Best and Brightest Companies to Work For this year, 2022. Our leadership team shows their commitment to all staff and our company culture by providing ongoing personal and professional development opportunities. They truly care about developing our people. We use DISC assessments and we do departmental DISC deep dives on a monthly basis. As employees, we feel heard and respected by leadership, and that we exist in a trustworthy environment. We can also include a replication of our company culture development with your business, and that is usually done with the customer service training that we provide. And again, please feel free to email me directly if you're interested in that service or learning more about it. Well, I hope you learned something new about BBB today, and I am happy to answer any questions now.
Thanks, Kimber. We do have a couple of questions. First questions coming in is, how does the BBB qualify a bad review? I think you talked about some of those things before, But if you could remind everybody what you do when you receive a review and how you check it out.
Yeah, so well, our thing is the vetting process. Like if it looks like it's a fake review, we're not going to publish it. You know, we're looking, like I said, we're looking at the IP addresses. If a business comes to us and said, this is not my customer, I don't know who this person is, you know, we dig a little deeper, and if we can verify that there was no marketplace interaction, we don't publish the review. And that's all to reduce and eliminate fraudulent reviews. And we don't think that paid reviews or incentivized reviews are ethical. And there are non-disparagement clauses in some businesses reviews, like contracts that they make you sign. So please be on the lookout for those as well. Those are actually illegal. The Federal Trade Commission has brought lawsuits against businesses that provide those. So basically they're non-disparagement clauses saying you cannot say anything bad about your experience with us as a business. You cannot leave us anything less than a 5-star review. And that's just not ethical. It's illegal, but it's also unethical.
Oh, one of the criteria that you mentioned about being an accredited member is at least 6 months in business. Does that mean a new business cannot qualify for membership?
Well, we look at, we'll take a look at it. I mean, I think that's a very generous, 6 months in business is very generous. And if a business has begun putting the framework of their business together, that counts. Like, even if we'll look at, did they put their website up, but maybe they didn't form the LLC until 6 months later, we do take into consideration any steps that they're taking to put the business together. And the 6-month piece does allow us to see how the company is operating in the marketplace.
Okay, good. So for a new business, you want to kind of get out there, but you want to get out there when you have a little bit more established yourself. So that's a good reason for waiting the 6 months. It's kind of like getting into the procurement area. Is you really need a year in business before you kind of qualify into government procurement, because you want to see how you're able to perform in the marketplace.
Yeah. And they can, as soon as they start their business, they can go ahead and create a business listing with us. It's just for the accreditation piece. And that's valuable because we have such high traffic to our website.
Another question came in. Can you tell us a little bit more about the customer service training you offer? Is that on site, or is that on an online format? Or
These days, it's usually a combination, and it depends on the size of the company. And each customer service training is custom curated for your business. So it just depends. A consultation is no charge. So if someone's interested, please reach out to me and we can start that conversation. And once I know a little bit more about the company, I mean, it's very different if it's a, 1 owner, 2 employees company versus 50 employees or 250 employees with a lot of departments. And, so it just totally depends.
Great. I learned some things I did not know the BBB started in Atlanta. So that explains why you have such a strong presence in there. And for folks that don't know, I do a lot of our digital marketing programs, and your online reputation is so critical to your ongoing operations. And what is so different about the BBB is giving you that opportunity to respond. A lot of the other social medias, for instance, of Google, you get a chance to respond, but you can't get that removed in any way, shape, or form, and nobody's checking it. And so that's a big difference. Is there's actually a person and not necessarily a machine that is verifying that information, make sure it's valid that is in there. Let's see, another question came in, or just a reminder that we will send a link to the recording of this presentation, as well as a copy of the presentation, so you can have that. Kimber, is there another place since you're in Atlanta, is there a phone number that people can call if they have a question, or is it better to ask those kind of questions via email?
My preference, like if you want to start the conversation with me, is to send an email, just so, because, if I don't always have my phone right by my side, and the phone that I use through work, if I have to be logged in and I'm out and about a lot. So I prefer it, let's start with an email and let me know what I can help you with. I don't know, Simone, if you've got our main line available, if you could drop that in the chat. It is on our website at bbb.org. I'm sorry, I don't know our number by heart. That's terrible.
Oh, she just posted it up, and that phone number is 404-766-0875. I'll repeat that. The local number, again, this is the national headquarters of the BBB, is 404-766-0875. So thank
Thank
you
you,
for that.
Simone.
Another question came in. You talked about the 20% discount for accreditation. How much is that accreditation? Is it based upon company size?
It is based on company size. So if you're at all interested, I would just encourage you to reach out to that business development email, and someone from our business development team. We have like 12 or 15 representatives now, and they're happy to give you a call and talk to you, see if it looks like you qualify, and they'll get some information from you. And once they get enough information, they'll be able to tell you what the cost is for membership, and then what your discount is.
Kimber, can you describe that, kind of like the conflict resolution? You get a complaint that comes in. What happens next?
We have an online portal, and the complaint goes through the process online. So the customer, files the complaint, and goes through BBB. We send it to the business, and that's not my department, so I can't tell you the exact correct details on it, but it's like so many days that the business has to respond, and our system will flag it. Did it get the response? And then if the response comes back through, then it goes to the consumer. And sometimes the consumer will reach out and call if they haven't gotten an update, and they'll want to know what's going on. Has the business responded? And really, all businesses should care about responding to a BBB complaint. Now, an accredited business has agreed to be responsive to customer issues. So if you're accredited, you can't not respond. But it affects your rating. And I've had people out there before that said, well, why do I care about BBB? Well, you care about BBB because we're very visible, and whatever information we have on you, good or bad, it's going to populate really high with Google searches. So it's an important piece, whether you choose to be accredited with us or not. It is important to monitor, and it's really important to monitor your online presence anyway, right? With Google and all the sites, but definitely just pay attention to that. And if they're a customer complaint, I think sometimes business owners get a little defensive about it, and just like with a negative review, and nobody wants that dispute or negative review, but oftentimes a customer just wants to be heard, or it might be just something simple. They got a defective product that they want replaced, and we just really encourage businesses to try to work with the consumer, and then we'll close the complaint once a resolution is reached. And if a resolution can't be reached, we do offer mediation, and then in extreme cases, arbitration. But we like mediation because it's a win-win. You come to an agreement with both sides agreeing. Arbitration is more of a win-lose.
Yeah, I think that ability to respond to a complaint and get resolution is so much better than other social media outlets where somebody's just posting it and you don't have an opportunity to talk to the customer, find out if it's even your customer. Could be a disgruntled employee or a competitor. You really get that resolution that probably more often not probably is more favorable to the business than it is than the consumer.
Sure. Yeah. And I just encourage businesses, don't be put off by, a negative consumer coming at you. Let's just look at it and determine what the best route to take is. And you're so right when you say, like social media channels. And I mean, people can record you, number one, and with video just at the drop of a hat, without your permission. They can post reviews from the palm of their hand, when they're angry, like there's no waiting period. If they're mad about a interaction with a business, they can just, blurt it out right there on a review or a social media channel. So you have to be very vigilant as a business owner about your reputation. It's a big part of it.
I think one of the biggest services you have is just talking about the scam notice. In this world of cybercrime, I mean, this is, in fact, we go through cybercrime training twice a year. It's so prevalent. And so the opportunity for the scammers to be out there is greater than it's ever been before. And all of us are consumers. We might own businesses, but we're all consumers as well. And those scammers really hurt, the legitimate businesses that are out there. Any idea how many scams do y'all kind of cover or discover in a typical year?
Simone may have that information. She's actually our public relations and media lead, and she's the one that the TV stations come to and the radio stations, and she's got the down low on the active scams. And I don't know if Simone, if you want to jump in there and answer that question.
Good morning. Yes, oh goodness, a year, it really just, in our area, maybe upwards to 1,000. And we're just talking about the 47 counties, but that's really a under amount because a lot of people feel ashamed that they got scammed. And so that's why we're here. Better Business Bureau is here because we want to encourage those people that it's nothing to be ashamed about. It happens. And, we're just here so we can alert others because people who don't share that information, we're not aware of. So we're just a megaphone of saying, hey, this particular business, this particular organization, they are doing, they're doing bad business. And we just want to make sure that we alert the public so we can, like Kimber always says, so we can drive, economic dollars to the right business, the business that are doing it the best.
Great. And Simone was kind enough to also post up the BBB contact information just for the Atlanta office, which is www.bbb.org/local-bbb/BBB of Metro Atlanta, Athens, and Northeast Georgia. There's some hyphenations that are in there. But if you go to the website itself, you can
It
find
geolocates. Mm-hmm.
It's probably very easy to find our local chapter as well as other chapters. If you have locations in other parts of the country, it's always good. Which means to say, if you have an organization that has multiple locations, does each location need to have a separate membership, or can a one membership cover all of your locations?
Yeah, that's a great question, Drew. So if many businesses do have multiple locations, and typically they would just get accredited in that headquarter location. But if you're if you're doing a lot of online services, then that would be okay to do it that way. However, if you're like a service company who has a presence in Atlanta, and maybe you have a presence in Birmingham as well, maybe a satellite office, then we need to go through that BBB. Often we can contact that BBB on behalf of the business, and just like they'll accept an added location fee. So it's not the full price of another accreditation, but to be able to advertise as BBB accredited in a different market like that, if you have that physical presence or physical location there, we would need to make sure we take the proper channels to add that location to the other BBB.
What about for franchise businesses? Because those are independently owned.
Yep. So that's treated as an individual entity. So I can think of, multiple franchises off the top of my head that are accredited, and they're each their own entity. And so they'll just come to us and want to, some of them do, some of them don't want to be accredited.
Great. You said you had the customer service training. What was the other training that you had available? you talked about DISC. Can y'all do DISC profiles for organizations?
Absolutely. Yes, we have I'm a certified disc trainer and we have another employee who's a certified disc trainer. Yeah, so we do basically what we've done within our own organization. Number one, as I mentioned, we have a front row seat to the business climate, what's going on, what are the problems, what are consumers complaining about, what are businesses not doing that they could be doing that would be helpful to keep consumers satisfied. And then what we've done internally with the DISC assessments and creating our company culture, we can replicate that system for anyone. And, just kind of what we've done with other, like I said, municipalities and companies through the years, depending on what the need is.
For those that don't know what DISC is Kimber, could you explain what DISC is and how it's used?
Yeah, sure. It's a personality assessment. And actually a lot of corporate America uses that these days. I have a lot of colleagues who are also into the program and trainers, and it's so helpful. It's broken into 4 different styles. So you've got, a D, I, S, and C. And we, like I said, we do a deep dive and we all, know each other. We were a pretty small group, and, we laugh about it sometimes, but, oh, he's a D, or, she's an I, somebody stop her from, rah, rah all the time or whatever. But it's just, it's so helpful to learn to communicate to your teammates. And I know for a fact we function to get together as a team much better, having that knowledge. And also, leadership can look at the different DISC assessments and say, hey, we value this person, but we've got them in the wrong place. Not just on the DISC assessment, but on their performance, but you can really see those underlying strengths and weaknesses. And it's helpful. It's just positive all the way around.
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent for DISC profiles. We've done it within the SBDC for our entire network. And it's really is advantageous because not only his personality, his communication style does somebody prefer something in writing? Does somebody prefer that a conversation begins verbally before, the written correspondence? And understanding how people communicate is a very valuable, especially in your team. That's where it's not so much between you and your customers, but really within your team members.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the right-hand side of the scale where the D's and I's, they're fast moving. On the left, it's slower moving. On the right, they're more people oriented. On the left, they're data oriented. And that's very important. How do I approach this person? Do I come in, with my KPIs to get their attention? If they're on the left side, probably so, because they like data, but if you're like me and you're a people person, I'd rather you come in and say, good morning, how's your weekend? How's everything going? It's different, and none of it's good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just how we are. So yeah, I agree with you, Drew. It's very, very helpful.
Great. Tell us again, how can you set up your free business profile?
Simone, you want to help me out with that? I think you put the link. I know you just go to our website. I think there's a link somewhere you could just click and it'll let you add your business.
Give me 1 second. I'll find that link and post it below.
Okay. Yeah, everything on our website's pretty clear. So I'm pretty confident when I say that it's just a matter of going to the website and clicking to add your business.
Again, your online reputation is critical in every outlet that you got, but that reputation being with a third party host has much more credibility than the things that you're posting, as well as giving you that opportunity to kind of control what is out there. That's what's so important for businesses, is having some element of control over this, because you have that chance to respond. And most businesses, they're going to take care of their customers, particularly small businesses. They're much more concentrated on customer satisfaction, and so usually there's always pretty good resolution with these things that pop up.
And it's important to be seen as trustworthy and credible, and not that you're not without the BBB seal, and logo, but we've been around for so long and we're very visible as being that trusted source. So, and then also not just the dynamic seal on your website, but once you're accredited, you can use our logo in any of your marketing materials. You've probably seen like the BBB accredited business logo on like a work van or a work truck. You can use it in your email signature. You can post it on your social media, invoicing, like all kinds of really anywhere you can think to use it. Once you're accredited, you're able to co-brand with us.
Great. Simone was kind enough to list the address that I will read out, which is www.bbb.org/get listed, and it's GET-listed. Very easy site. So if you do nothing after today, is go ahead and get listed. And then as you grow into the marketplace, you might want to look at that accreditation is another way to enhance your online reputation, because it's saying these are the standards that we work for. And that's kind of interesting that Coke was one that kind of started this, that a lot of their principles kind of came out from this.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And they're actually, they're an accredited business with us and they sit on our board, and it's very interesting how it all has evolved over the years. And I encourage any of you business owners, even if you think you don't qualify yet, reach out to that business development email address, and just our sales staff, our business development people are wonderful. They'd love to have a conversation with you, and they can explain in further detail, like the process, and maybe get you queued up and ready if you don't qualify yet for when you do qualify, and they can let you know pricing. And then that way you're, poised and ready when the time is right.
Great. Well, I'll give you the final word. I don't see anything else coming in on our Q&A questions or on the chat. Kimber, just summarize, what are the best benefits for joining with the BBB?
Credibility and visibility, being just being part of an association that stands for ethics and integrity in the marketplace. And as I said before, it's more important now than ever, when sometimes people say, BBB, you guys been around forever, and it's like, yeah, it's for a reason. And it's more important now, and more important now than ever. And I mean, look at COVID, which just brought more scams. We did a presentation about PPP loans and then like scams. Simone could talk to that, but around the grant money and PPP loans and all of that. So we're out there actively every day, every week, working to, steer those economic dollars to the legitimate, trustworthy businesses. And so, by becoming a member with us, as I said, we're a small nonprofit, you're helping us with our mission of keeping the money going to the trustworthy businesses and away from the scammers. So it's a win-win all the way around when we all partner and collaborate together.
That is so true. That's why we support our local businesses, because I rarely see these things. It's the scammers that are against those principles. It's not those local businesses. They're there in the community. They cannot hide. And so those standards, they live by, because they're interacting with a local customer base. So there's usually nothing unusual in these standards that every small business doesn't comply with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, I think that's a misconception too, is people, they might be kind of put off just because they don't know, which is why we're doing this today, right?
Yes, true. Well, again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the partnership that we have, not only locally, but nationally. Again, on behalf of the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center at Kennesaw State, thank you for joining us today. Thanks.
You are so welcome. Thank you.